Is the false dilemma related to cognitive biases? Have you ever felt trapped in a situation where it seemed like you only had two choices, even though there might be more? This is known as a false dilemma, and it plays a significant role in how we think about ethics and morality. So, let's break this down and see how it connects to cognitive biases. A false dilemma, sometimes called a false dichotomy, occurs when a situation is presented as having only two options. This oversimplification can lead to poor decision-making, especially when discussing moral issues. In reality, most ethical choices are not that clear-cut. Now, cognitive biases are systematic patterns of thinking that can lead us to make mistakes in judgment. These biases shape how we perceive and interpret information. They are not random errors. They are predictable tendencies that arise from how our minds work. The false dilemma is closely linked to these cognitive biases. It is classified as a logical fallacy, but it often stems from cognitive biases like dichotomous thinking. This bias leads people to see situations in black and white terms, making them more likely to fall into the trap of a false dilemma. When emotions run high in moral debates, this bias can blind us to alternative solutions. From an ethical standpoint, the false dilemma can be particularly harmful. Moral reasoning requires us to consider context and the consequences of our actions. When we frame ethical questions as either or, we risk ignoring important details. This can lead to poor moral judgments and increased conflict, as we may fail to empathize with those who see things differently. To avoid the false dilemma in moral psychology, it is essential to question whether the choices presented are truly exhaustive. This means actively seeking out other options and listening to diverse viewpoints. Simplifying complex ethical issues can lead to rash judgments that do not consider all perspectives. In practical terms, being aware of the connection between false dilemmas and cognitive biases can help us make better choices. It encourages us to think critically about our decisions and to avoid oversimplified views of right and wrong. By doing so, we can support more thoughtful and inclusive outcomes in our moral reasoning. So, the next time you find yourself faced with a tough decision, remember that there might be more than just two options. Recognizing the false dilemma can lead to richer discussions and better ethical choices.